Texting terms at unlock.com/SMS. Privacy policy at unlock.com/privacy-policy. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. For full details, see unlock.com/legal. Actor portrayal.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just go to their website.
Text EQUITY to 865-865 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Pay off debt, improve your home, add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Text EQUITY to 865-865. Text the word EQUITY to 865-865. Text EQUITY to 865-865 now.
Succeeding in sugar dating requires more than appearance. It demands emotional intelligence, mutual respect, clear boundaries, and a strong sense of personal agency. When approached thoughtfully and safely, sugar dating can be a mutually beneficial and empowering experience.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad and the shocking stories of sugar dating. It's just me solo today. I've got a lot of good things I want to talk about, but the party is next week, like literally 1 week away. And we are so excited to meet a bunch of new friends. We have well over 60 attendees from all over the world coming to Scottsdale, Arizona in June. Yes, it's going to be hot, but it's going to be a hot party. No, nobody's dying. I think the forecast is like 106, 107, so not bad. The lows in the low 80s, going to be absolutely gorgeous. We've got, 7 or 8 Airbnbs with pools for our guests. All the girls are being taken care of in their housing. A lot of the guys are staying at the W there in Old Town Scottsdale, and it's just going to be a fantastic time. A lot of new friends made, a lot of old friends coming together, and it's going to be a weekend they will never forget. We'll share plenty of details on our Patreon. So we'd love to have you join that and become a member of our fan club. It's patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. We're going to share exclusive behind-the-scenes photos and videos, of course, with the anonymity in mind of our guest, but you will get to see a lot of the action going on, and it's going to be fun, and maybe you'll be able to join us for the next one. We haven't figured out what the next Sugar Palooza is going to be yet. There's a lot of great shows coming in this fall into Arizona. And man, I tell you what, fall and winter in Arizona is absolute paradise. So this being a record-breaking Sugar Palooza during the heat of the summer, I expect our next one to be absolutely nuts. So keep checking our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. Press the party tab to see where the next one is. Now, I know it's only 1 week away, and I'm absolutely sold out on tickets. I have 0 tickets left. But here's the beautiful thing. If you're local in the Arizona area, or you even want to come to Arizona and still participate, let me know. I can get you into the Mixer on Saturday night. We have unlimited availability there. And it's going to be a night of fun. It's a huge party in itself. And we're going to be doing it at a country club. We got a DJ dance floor. We've got photo booth. We've got a private bartender, all-you-can-eat buffet, all-you-can-drink. And that's going to go late into the night. I probably have a little after party at my house, which is just down the street. So if you want to participate in that, let me know. And then you can be an alternate. If I have tickets that come available for the Shakira suites, we'll be happy to slide you in there. Every year we get a few cancellations. Unfortunately, emergencies come up, things come up where people can't make it at the last minute. And with this many people coming, I do anticipate probably 2 to 4 cancellations. So we may have tickets that come available, and we would love to have you join us at all the other festivities, even if you don't get to go to Shakira. I mean, we got a pre-party at my house on Sunday, the 22nd. You're free to join that. And then after the show, the party bus will drop us back off at the house, and we're going to party way into the night. And then sometime on Monday morning, we're going to have a come-and-go breakfast brunch at my house, and just kind of a chill morning of reminiscing and saying goodbye to our new and old friends. So that is coming up, and you will not want to miss that if you're able to come. All right. Today, we're going to talk about a few things, and I want to kind of touch on how to succeed at sugar dating. Now, a lot of this is going to be redundant information. We've gone over this ad nauseum, more than 200 episodes that we've released over the last 4 years. But I just think it's important to rehash the basics of sugar dating and how to succeed in sugar dating. There's still a lot of misconceptions. I was talking to a girl I had met. Now, this is kind of an interesting story. She's going through a lot, and well, I'll just let you know. I met this girl, like in 2018, I think it was 2018 or 19, on Seeking. So the situation was, I was going to a Dua Lipa concert in Las Vegas, and the person that I took actually fell ill and had to go home. It was unfortunate, but something came up and she had to leave. So I found myself alone in Vegas with a whole weekend, and I just went on Seeking, and I met this girl, and she said, "Hey, I'm in town from Florida. Does anybody want to show me around and hang out?" I thought, perfect. I'm in town from Arizona. Let's hang out. So I picked her up, and we had a very interesting weekend. The rest of the weekend, we ended up jumping off of the side of the stratosphere, and I was not planning or prepared to do that, but I wasn't going to let her jump by herself. She wanted to do it, so I said, all right, I'll do it. So I jumped first, actually, and then at the bottom, I recorded her jumping. Now, it's not a bungee. It's more like a free fall, except you are wired and they kind of slow you down, and it's very controlled, but it's still scary as hell. You're on the top of the stratosphere, almost the top. You walk out on this platform, and you could see all of Las Vegas in its glory. And there's somebody there with their hand on your back who gives you a little shove, and over the edge you go. I mean, it was something else. I don't know if I would do it again, but I didn't die. I survived to tell the story, and, it's one for the books. I really did enjoy it. So, and then, but, before that, we actually went on some rides at the top of the stratosphere. We went on the Big Shot, which that one is, to me, just as scary. You get in, you sit in this contraption, and they get you all buckled up, and then it just shoots you straight up, and you feel like you're headed to the moon. It is an absolute scary ride in itself. Of course, you end up hitting the top, and then you bounce back down, and you live to tell about it. But that one's called the Big Shot. I would highly recommend that one too if you're a thrill seeker. So anyway, she loved to do that stuff. My ex-wife didn't like doing any of that stuff. So I'd kind of been deprived of those experiences, and I wanted to experience those. And so I was able to do it with this random girl I met on Seeking. Anyway, we had a great time, and that was the end of the weekend. She didn't have a place to stay, so she did end up staying at my hotel the next couple nights. We did have one night of intimacy, which was a lot of fun, and then she headed back home, and I hadn't talked to her in a long, long time. Well, we reconnected on Snapchat and Instagram, and she's going through a lot. So I didn't know this, but apparently she has not been sober for the last 14 to 15 years. And she's, 28, 29. So ever since she was a mid-teenager. She's been into alcohol, cocaine, even meth, I understand, just party drugs, right? And just couldn't function without these party drugs and alcohol. And she's absolutely gorgeous, great personality, very infectious personality, magnetic. People like to be around her. She's good with social media. And I actually wanted to have her on the show because she has gone sober. She didn't go through any treatments or anything. She just woke up one day and said, this has got to stop. And I've been following her journey on Snapchat and Instagram, and she's now past the 45-day sober period. She did have a lot of withdrawals, had to go to the hospital. I mean, you can imagine after being addicted to all kinds of drugs for that long, the withdrawals are going to be tough. But she's through all that. She's better. She's lost weight. You can see her face is lighting up again. And I think I know she's on a road to recovery that she's going to enjoy, and hopefully she'll never relapse because she's starting to feel the benefits of being sober. Now, I don't care if you like to enjoy alcohol or party drugs. Some people have addictive personalities. I can do that. Like, I can drink and I get to a limit where I just don't want to drink anymore, or alcohol doesn't really mesh well with my system. My brother was an absolute alcoholic for 30 or 40 years. He drank every single day till almost he blacked out, and he did hard drugs and all this stuff. He just had this addictive personality where he couldn't control it. Me, personally, I could do that stuff and control it and not have a problem. I just choose to refrain because I don't like the way my body feels. So fortunately, a lot of us are like that. We have control, but then there's other people that once they take a hit, once they take a drink, they just can't stop, and it's tough. So more power to you guys for getting that under control, and you have 100% of my support. So anyway, this girl is wanting to do some things with her life, and she's enrolled in a certain type of school, a training that she wants, and she's raised some money. I donated a little bit. I think it was through a GoFundMe. And I wanted to have her on the show to talk about it because I know we have a lot of people in our audience that struggles with alcohol and drug addiction and other things, that maybe even sex addiction or some kind of a suppressant that gets their mind off of reality. And she absolutely turned me down because she doesn't want to have anything to do with Sugar Daddy's podcast or Sugar Baby or Sugar Dating. I want to have nothing to do with it. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting because she actually works as a stripper part-time, and she did start an OnlyFans. Now, apparently her OnlyFans is not pornographic or even semi-nude. I think it's just a fan page where she does some stretching and things like that. But I'm like, wow. Like, I met you on Seeking. I even gave you money for your time and the weekend that we had because I really enjoyed it. Yet you've sworn this off like it's the plague or something. And I'm thinking, and then the other thing she told me, she goes, I don't have sex for money and I don't do porn. Like, well, I get it, but that's not what sugar dating is about. So many people equate sugar dating as, here's money, now give me sex. And we've gone over this so much that it's much, much deeper than that. And many times sex is not even involved in sugar dating. I can't tell you how many dates I've gone on and people that I've met, no sexual relations happened at all. Some of them I would have liked to go on that way. Others, I absolutely did not want to go that way. But it's so much deeper than that. And I've actually formed friendships with people that I've met on the site, and working relationships with people that I've met on the site, that our sexual relationship or even our dating relationship never really went anywhere, but we remained friends. it's absolutely an amazing experience of meeting that person and getting to know them on a deeper level. And just so many people equate sugar dating as prostitution, and it's just not. So I want to go over, again, the basics of sugar dating. What is sugar dating and how?
For full details, including terms and conditions, visit unlock.com/legal. Call 1-888-780-6854 to speak with a representative today. Actor portrayal. Terms and conditions apply.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just give him a call or go to unlock.com.
Call 1-888-780-6854 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Use the money for home improvements, to pay off debt, or to add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Visit unlock.com. That's unlock.com, or call 1-888-780-6854 now to get started.
To succeed at sugar dating.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
So basically, sugar dating in a nutshell is a consensual relationship model where one partner, that's the sugar baby, receives financial support or gifts or mentorship from another, which is usually a sugar daddy, sometimes a sugar mama, but that's rare, in exchange for companionship. That may include emotional or romantic involvement. Now, while it's controversial to some, sugar dating is perfectly legal, and it's a growing trend when conducted transparently and ethically. So what we're going to do is talk about some key strategies for succeeding in sugar dating while maintaining personal safety, autonomy, and mutual respect. I guess first we need to understand the dynamics of sugar dating. So here's the core principles. Basically, it's mutually beneficial to both parties. Both parties should benefit. There's been way too many times where it felt one-sided. And I think a lot of the complaints from the men is that all she wants to do is take, and not give me anything in return, whether it's an intimate relationship or whether they want to go out in public and do something like a dinner or an event or a comedy show or a concert or whatever. You've got to make sure that to be successful in sugar dating, that both parties feel that they are benefiting from the other, whether it's emotional, financial, or otherwise, right? And then transparency is so important. That's the beauty of sugar dating. We talk about that so much, that you can be transparent. You can tell people exactly the situation you're in. You can tell people what you expect, and both sides respect the open and honest communication. And once they feel like both sides are being open and honest, it helps to avoid misunderstandings. It helps to convey a relationship for what each person wants out of it. Now, let's say that eventually I'm looking for my person and I want to settle down and get married. Just go ahead and convey that. Talk to them about that. Say, look, I'm not looking to put pressure on you to be my wife. I just want to have a good time. At the end of the night, you go your way, I go mine. And if we really enjoy each other, let's do this again. Eventually, if it continues to grow, then we can look further into a romantic relationship. But me personally, I don't want to force that. But if it comes, then I would be very happy. But if it doesn't, then we'll just enjoy each other for the time that we have together and make a lot of beautiful memories. So the transparency is much appreciated by both parties. And then the other dynamic of sugar dating is the consent and boundaries aspect of it. First of all, both parties must be consensual, okay? We don't need somebody doing something without their consent. And boundaries. You know, people have various boundaries. Some people, like anything goes, and they'll let you know about it. And other people are like, no, I don't do this. I don't do that. I'd rather stay away from this. And they set their boundaries. Again, the transparency is so important on that. And talking about boundaries lets each other party know of the expectations of this sugar dating relationship. And then if boundaries are being crossed, you can have that discussion and say, look, we talked about this. You know, I'm uncomfortable with this or going to here or whatever it may be. And it's not a surprise to the other party. Now, maybe they are pushing the boundaries a little bit to see what they can get away with. A lot of people do that, especially like children. They know not to do something after you've told them 10 times not to do it, but then you turn your back and they're over there kind of trying to sneak over to do whatever it is, and then they're looking back to see if they can get away with it. I mean, men are the same way. Women do that too. Sometimes we push boundaries. But if you talk about the boundaries very clearly in the beginning, it makes it much easier to confront that you're uncomfortable with. Another aspect of being successful in sugar dating is you got to choose the right platform. Most people use Seeking. They are not a sponsor of ours. I've had people say, you know, you're giving them a lot of free advertising. You should bleep that out when you talk about them. Well, it is what it is. That's where we meet. There are other sites, and if you found success on another site, we'd love to hear about it. I know Lily met her person on Secret Benefits, which is also sugardaddy.com. It's the same platform. So if you sign up for one, you're actually signed up for both. And I've never paid for a subscription over at Secret Benefits because I didn't like the way it was structured, where you have to pay to respond to messages. And the problem we've talked about in the past is Alejandra and I were looking at it. She has an account over there, and she was looking at my profile because I showed her mine. And then she clicked away from it, and it sent me a message from her. And I asked her, did you send me a message? She's like, no, I didn't. And I just thought that was a little shady of the company because they're trying to get you to pay for messages. And I don't like that kind of business. So I would rather use the Seeking profile where I just pay a monthly fee and then I can message unlimited back and forth. No fuss, no muss. Now, I did read an article lately. I think Seeking just put out a new article on their blogs. If you haven't checked those out, I would recommend those. There's some good things in there, but they said they're about to increase the price for the men to try to weed out some of the posers. Now, I know they're really trying to get rid of the sugar part of sugar dating on their website and the allowance part and the PPM part. They're really trying to get rid of that verbiage and stigma, but it's going to be there. But the problem is a lot of young guys who have no means, or even older guys have no means, are getting on the site, hitting on all these women, and they've taken away the financial part of it too, as far as like what the men state they're worth and how much they make a year. Now, all that was BS anyway. But the girls did look at that. That was a factor for when they decided who they responded to and who they didn't, despite very wealthy men telling me that they put the minimum on there. So they took that away, and there's just been a lot of Splenda or salt daddies that they call them. That's Seeking, and then there's, a couple other sugar daddy meet. If you've had any success on the others, I'd like to hear about it. We have looked into possibly developing something that might compete, but it's just in talks right now. I don't know if it'll ever come to fruition, but there definitely needs to be a legitimate competitor to Seeking, but I just don't feel like there is one yet. So it is what it is. As we talk about them for free. There you go, Seeking. Pay me later. When you register and you create your account, make sure you use good photos and a variety of photos. You want some that are professional, not too filtered. I mean, there's so many on there filtered. If you're going to put a filtered photo on there, that's fine. Put one that's not filtered also, just to give us both sides. Now, one thing I noticed that they took away the category of what class of body style you're in, like slim, average, athletic, curvy. It's just a weight. They just put a weight range, 110 to 120, 130 to 140, yada, yada, yada. Girls, I know you like to fudge a little. Guys do too, but try to put your correct range on there. When you show up at 185, but you put 140, it's going to be a problem. If you put 180 to 190 in your range and you show up 185 and the guy has made a date with you, it's not a problem. You're exactly what they expected. And you're not going to be very successful catfishing anyone. I've been catfished so many times. It's ridiculous, and it sets a bad precedent. And then I'm in a bad mood the whole time. And I just don't even feel like conversing with that person because I just feel like they absolutely lied to me, and what else are they going to lie about? Okay, so it is what it is. If you're 185, put 180 to 190. Just put the correct range, okay? Yes, there are going to be some guys that skip over you because you're not in their weight range and you're thinking, oh, I'm missing out. Trust me, there are going to be plenty that won't skip over you and you'll get plenty of dates, but just don't catfish the men on that part. Men, if you're 5'9", don't put 6 foot. It's kind of the same way. Now, since you are the one with the money and you are the one compensating the woman, and this is compensated dating, you might get away with it. And they may not care because, oh, well, what the hell? He's a nice guy. But try not to. That's a big complaint of the women, is that men will put like 6'1", and then they show up and they're 5'7", and the girl's 5'5" with heels on, and they're like, yeah, this guy's not 6 foot or 6'1" or whatever they put on there. I'm 5'9.5". I did round up to 5'10". That's acceptable. No, nobody's going to fault you for that, but just be truthful on your profile because it's going to come out eventually. The other thing is on the photos, you want to make sure that you put different kinds of photos. You want to put one in maybe in a professional outfit, maybe one if you're a golfer at the golf course, or if you're a surfer and this, doing the surfing or snow skiing or whatever you like to do. Put pictures in there that you portray what you like to do, like hiking. I see a lot of people have hiking photos. Now, don't put a lot of photos with other pretty girls. I'm talking to the girls. Nothing annoys a guy more than they can't figure out which girl they're actually talking to. And then when they figure out which girl they're talking to, it's not even the prettiest girl in the picture. Now, you don't want that. If you're going to put a group picture of you and some other people, make sure you're the best looking one in there, because now the guy's not disappointed. I've seen a picture and I'm like, oh my God, that girl on the left is so hot. I hope it's that girl that I'm talking to. And then it ended up being the girl on the right who wasn't as attracted. I just wasn't attracted to her, and I was really disappointed. So try not to put group photos on there. All right, write a clear and honest and appealing bio. Here's what I suggest. Okay, now I used to suggest going to YouTube or going to some other sources about putting in your feelings or putting in situations and seeing what the experts say about that. ChatGPT now is where it's at. It's unbelievable. Write out a bio just on your own, and it doesn't have to, it can just be a bunch of words, just a bunch of sentences that kind of describe what you're looking for about you and so on. Take that, put it into ChatGPT. You are going to absolutely be amazed at what it spits out. And then, if you want to make a funnier version, say, hey, make this a little more comedic. And ChatGPT will make your profile a little more on the funny side. Or you can say, make it a little bit more businesslike, and it'll use a few more bigger words or some adjectives that you might not have thought about. ChatGPT is an unbelievable source for anything that you can think of. When responding to a text, I've wanted to say things that I wasn't sure how the other person was going to respond. So I took my text that I was going to send them, put it into ChatGPT, and absolutely loved the version it gave me. Or after a few tweaks, I felt like it was so much more concise than the one that I was going to send over. I cannot recommend that enough. So use the resources that are out there. You're going to love those, and it's going to help you a lot. And then finally, on your profile, be upfront about your expectations. Now, you can't really talk about allowances, but once you get to talking about that, your meeting frequency, what you expect financially, just be right up front about it. Let's get it out of the way. Sometimes that's kind of like ripping off a Band-Aid because you don't know how it's going to feel. You don't know how it's going to come across to the other person. But it has to be talked about sooner than later, or there's going to be a lot of confusion in the future when you leave the date and maybe you did some extra special things to make him feel amazing, and he sends you $300. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's really? That's what I was worth tonight? That's the entertainment that I gave was $300. Sometimes men just don't know. And of course, a man's going to want to get away with as cheap as he can on the most part, because we're not money trees. So if you expect $500, if you expect $800, we've had people ask for $1,500. If that's what you're expecting, make it clear up front. So then at the end of the night, you're not fighting with him going, over the text or over the phone going, dude, you just ripped me off. Well, it was kind of your fault because you didn't.
For full details, including terms and conditions, visit unlock.com/legal. Call 1-888-780-6854 to speak with a representative today. Actor portrayal. Terms and conditions apply.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just give him a call or go to unlock.com.
Call 1-888-780-6854 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Use the money for home improvements, to pay off debt, or to add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Visit unlock.com. That's unlock.com, or call 1-888-780-6854 now to get started.
Set the expectation, right? So let's get that out of the way.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
All right, crafting your image and your profile. So your profile is your first impression, and you've got to consider what you look like. I mean, appearance is your first impression, and it's everything that's going to get you to the next step. So you've got to dress well. You've got to maintain your hygiene and invest in a refined look. Now, going back to maintain your hygiene, nothing's worse than when you're having a conversation with somebody and they have bad breath. Or maybe they didn't put on deodorant or enough deodorant and you can smell body odor. It does not make for a very pleasant time, especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time. You don't want to turn somebody off immediately. So your appearance is very important. I've had people show up in yoga pants and a sweat top and just dressed down like pajama bottoms, flip-flops. And I'm dressed business casual. Now, I had this one girl. This was kind of embarrassing. She was hot. No, I'm not. No two ways about it. She was smoking hot. The problem is we showed up in a public place. It was Postino's. She had on the shortest jean skirt possible to women. Like, it basically showed her hoo-ha. She had humongous boobs, and all she had on was a little spaghetti top, spaghetti crop top. It looked like a hooker. I mean, yeah, it was a turn on, but I was embarrassed because I'm in, kind of a casual business casual setting at a wine and cheese place, and she looked like an absolute hooker. Didn't stop me from continuing the night, but it was funny because she dropped a napkin or something and she couldn't get off of her stool to get it, or her whole everything would be hanging out. So I had to get off stool, which I would have done that anyway, but don't show up like that. All right, your personality. I mean, that's going to trump everything, right? So you want to showcase your intelligence, your ambition, and charisma. Don't force it, though. We can always tell when it's forced. Just be you, but don't get ghetto. And you know what ghetto is. And I've met those people where they showed up and they looked good, but then all of a sudden they started speaking like they had no education. Or maybe they didn't. But the person I'm thinking of, she had plenty of education. She chose to speak like that. Maybe it's to the people that she hung around with. Maybe it's kind of the environment that she grew up with. But it was a choice. And maybe you're going to find a gentleman that's into that. I'm not looking for that, for someone who speaks like that, to take them out into a public function. God forbid, to meet one of my friends and I have to introduce them, and then we carry on some kind of a conversation. They're going to look at me and going, what are you doing? I do have an image to maintain, as most people do. So make sure you try your best to speak intelligently and have some charisma. And avoid oversharing personal information early on. Man, I met someone and it was a bombardment of personal information, tragedy, misfortune, unfortunate circumstances, telling me about their childhood, telling me about their parents and what bad relationship they had with them and what situation they were in with their apartment and the person that they were living with, and blah, blah, blah. Not what I was wanting to hear on the first date, especially the meet and greet, right? Not what I was wanting to hear. Maybe after we've established something, we can get more into all of that. And then, that's kind of where I like to help people if they're willing and able to take the help and do something with it. But avoid oversharing all that personal information early on. Yes, share where you came from, share where you went to college, what you studied, maybe some positive things in your life, what you're wanting to do with your life. You want this to be a fun-filled date, not one that you're walking away from shaking your head going, what in the world? How did this girl get into so much unfortunate circumstances, right? Again, setting the expectations is another big aspect. I know we've touched on that earlier, but the financial arrangements, be explicit about the expectations, your monthly allowance, your gifts, travel. You got to clarify this information early in the communication. Your emotional boundaries. You have to decide whether you're open to a romantic relationship or only companionship. I've had people tell me right up front, look, I'm dating somebody else. I'm doing this because I enjoy sugar dating. I enjoy meeting new people, but I'm not looking to get married. I'm not looking to start a relationship. I want to enjoy this for what it is. Thanks for telling me that. I appreciate knowing where you're at and what's going on. Now, things may change down the future, and a lot of times they do, But in the beginning, just let people know right up front. I know Amy has been back on Seeking after she got married, and we're all like, are you talking? Are you telling people about this? Because so many people she meets, they want to get into a deeper relationship with her that she can do. She's already married. She's in a relationship with her husband, who also is open, and he's dating others. But there's just no way she's going to leave her husband for somebody that she's met on Seeking. I don't think. I mean, maybe it works that way, but not initially. But she tells me all the time, so many people put pressure on her to start traveling with her, to introduce them to their family and friends and take them on corporate events. And she's like, whoa. I'm doing this, just to have fun on dates, and the extra income is helping. She's got a lot of student loans and school that she wants to pay off. So need to make sure you let them know where your romantic relationship goals are, your companionship goals are right in the beginning. And then the time commitment. Determine your availability for dates, messaging, travel, etc. Yeah, so many people want to take her traveling. Well, she's got a job, she's got a husband, she's got dogs, she's got a lot of things going on. So she can't travel for a week. Hey, let's go to the Bahamas on last minute notice. That's not Amy. Now, Kimmy, on the other hand, who I've been talking to lately, she has that kind of availability. And if a billionaire wants to fly her in a private jet on a European vacation for a week with 2 days notice, she's been able to pull that off. So everybody's different when it comes to those aspects of their availability on the dates. So make sure you let them know that up front. All right, the communication and relationship skills. So successful sugar relationships require emotional intelligence. Recognize and response to emotional cues is very important. Just remembering a date I had many years ago, she talked for a solid 2 hours. 2 hours. I don't know if I said one sentence in 2 hours. So how is she able to recognize and respond to emotional cues if she's talking? The conversation needs to be balanced. Yes, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me what's going on. Tell me about your life. I'm interested. But I would also like you to be interested in me. Now, the one controlling the conversation is the one actually asking the questions. So you want to be the one asking the questions and getting them to talk. But it really is nice if they ask a few questions back. I've told this story, the same girl, after the date was over, we had a great time, and then we ended up having really good sex afterwards. And I enjoyed her, but I just felt like she didn't know anything about me, and I didn't really even have a chance to kind of talk to her about all these things, right? So after the date, I said, hey, you know what? I really enjoyed you. She was pretty. She was attractive. I'd love to see you again. But you talked for 2 hours straight. And she told me, she goes, yeah, I know. My friends tell me I do that. And when I get nervous, I just talk a lot. I go, well, here's what I would expect on our next date. A little bit more of a balanced conversation. And I think we're good. Otherwise, everything else was great. The next date we had, we started talking. She was telling me a story. Then she stopped and looked at me, started asking me questions. I was like, okay. And then I told her a few things about what she was asking. And then I asked her a few questions. And it was an absolutely perfect, balanced conversation that I enjoyed, she enjoyed. And all of a sudden, we were on the same page and we knew so much more about each other. And then we can move forward with, all these things that I've been talking about on how to be successful at sugar dating. So make sure that you are asking questions to the other person. Maturity and professionalism you've got to treat the arrangement with respect and be serious about it. You have no idea where this thing could lead. I've seen these arrangements lead to big time opportunities. A lot of them also go nowhere. You just don't know. So be serious when somebody is offering you an arrangement. Don't treat it like, oh, I could get another one from anybody at any time. All right? Treat it with respect, and you never know what will come out of it. And then discretion and respect for the sugar daddies and mommies. They do value privacy, so mirror this value. They will let you know if they don't give a fuck what people think. Most people do, though, so be respectful of the privacy matter of this. Safety. There's another aspect of successful sugar dating. You want to make sure you're doing this in the safest way possible. Safety is paramount. I mean, you want to meet in a public place first. Girls will come over to your house. They'll do it. I advise you not to, girls, but they will. If they feel comfortable with you and you've conveyed some respect to them over the phone, and a lot of times they'll throw caution in the wind, and it might be okay. But we do not recommend you going to their house initially. Just don't do it. Always have the first few meetings in public spaces. And then once you get comfortable with that person, once you get their real number and their real name, and you've done a little background check on that person, then I would be open to having you go to their house. Now, I know Kimmy ended up going to somebody's house and he tried to rape her. And he was a very well-known person in town. And it was a bad situation. I think if she had done any kind of research on the guy, she'd have known that he has a little bit of a background. And matter of fact, he's in jail right now for strangling his wife. He didn't kill her, though, thank goodness. But domestic violence was part of his background, and it came to show so badly that he was arrested not long after the whole incident with Kimmy.
You're listening to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy.
Texting terms at unlock.com/SMS. Privacy policy at unlock.com/privacy-policy. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. For full details, see unlock.com/legal. After portrayal.
Lisa, thanks for having me over. Your new kitchen is gorgeous. How'd you find the money to do it?
We worked with this great company, Unlock. They help you unlock the future value of your home to get the cash you need today.
So it's a home equity loan?
No, it's not a loan at all. There's no monthly payments and no interest charges ever. And you can use the money however you want. We were able to redo our kitchen and pay off our credit card debt.
Wow, Jack and I could really use this to finally pay off our old student loan debt. How do I get started?
It's easy. Just go to their website.
Text EQUITY to 865-865 to unlock the value in your home and get up to $500,000 in cash with no monthly payments and no interest ever. Pay off debt, improve your home, add to your retirement fund. It's up to you. Text EQUITY to 865-865. Text the word EQUITY to 865-865. Text EQUITY to 865-865 now.
Now back to the show with your host, Marcus.
Share details with a friend. Alejandra's really good at that. She tells her roommate where she's going and her whereabouts. Now, it's so easy to share your location. Now with the iPhones and other phones, you can show people exactly where you're at all times. Recommend doing that, especially on the first few dates. And then use secure communication. Avoid giving out your personal contact details too quickly. We have always, from the beginning of this show, recommended you use a secondary number for dating, and Google Voice has one that is free. You can pick a local number. You can pick a number in any city you want, but you get a number for free. It's not the greatest texting app as far as like videos and photos. It works, but it's good enough. And it's good enough to allow you to communicate with people without giving your details too quickly. I was talking to somebody on Seeking, and they absolutely would not get off the platform because they did not want to text me with their number. I don't feel comfortable, they say, texting you from my number. Well, don't. Text me from a secondary number. I don't care, but I don't want to talk details on Seeking. I'll get thrown off there if I say what I really want to say, or talk about the, allowances, or talk about PPMs, or talk about expectations. They're throwing people off for that delicate information. I don't want to discuss this online. So don't force people to get into those details online, because you jeopardize them getting their account suspended or deleted altogether. Get you a secondary number, whether it's through Text Now, Text Free, Text Me, whatever they are. I don't like those because those are ad-based. Google Voice is not ad-based. It's just free. And get you a Google Voice number. And you can access this number on your computer too. And then financial safety. Never send money or banking details to anyone. And I don't know why we have to state that on every time we go over Sugar Dating 101, basic sugar dating, how to be successful in sugar dating. It's happening still to this day. The scammers are still there. They're going to try to get you to open up your bank information to them. They're going to try to get you to send them money through various means. We talk about the different types of scams as we hear them to help educate you so you don't get taken. Just don't do it. Now, I Zelle Alejandra her allowance every week, and I just send it to her phone number. She doesn't even have to give me her banking information. She can give me her phone number, her email, or whatever the Zelle is set up under. I can Zelle her money. Or if you want to send money through Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Apple Pay, there's so many ways. You do not have to give banking information. You just don't have to. Now, the funny thing is, if you write somebody a check, all your banking information is right there. You got your routing number, you got your account number, it's all there. So it's not hard for people to get, but just don't give anybody on the phone or in a foreign country your banking information. And then managing your expectations over time. So regular check-ins are important. So revisit your arrangements to ensure both parties remain satisfied. It's good to talk about it every now and then. Or if you feel like you need a raise, Alejandra did that to me. She's like, hey, you're giving me blank amount a month. And now that you're not seeing all these other girls, I can see you a little bit more. And I think my weekly allowance should be raised. And she talked me right into it. So you might want to check in to see where you are with your allowance. Maybe even you can't see that person as many times now, and you want to be fair about it and reduce the weekly amount. You don't think it's fair that you're not holding up the end of your bargain like you used to, then yeah, talk to him. He will appreciate that. I promise you. Exit strategy. Everything ends. Everything. Unfortunately, our guest Wilson talked about it. He says all relationships end. They all do. One person is going to be standing after the other person's gone, whether it's through death, whether it's just somebody moving on. All relationships end eventually. So be prepared to end things respectfully if your goals change. You want to make it as smooth of an ending as possible. And that's why I love about sugar dating. We talk about that again so much, that things have ended. I've had dozens and dozens of sugar relationships which ended, but they weren't violent ends or they weren't tragic ends. They just kind of faded. Like our goals changed. She went one way, I went another, and we just stopped dating, but we kind of communicated that. Or even if we didn't, we still remained friends. It's like, hey, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, that's great. My job got busy or it took me here. I've been traveling a lot, whatever the case may be. And then sometimes, since you left on good terms, you hook back up. And it's really a lot of fun. Like, hey, oh my God, I'd love to see you again. It's been too long. And, you start remembering the great times that you had and the fun activities that you participated in, or maybe the great sex that you had. I mean, it could be all kinds of things. you find yourself going out with that person again, maybe rekindling the arrangement, or just maybe once or twice just having fun again. So be prepared for the sugar relationship to end eventually, or even if it turns into marriage. That marriage is going to end one day or another. Unfortunately, it may be a divorce, or it may be a death of one of the two, but eventually one person is going to be gone. Just be prepared. It's the facts of life. It's not always fun to talk about. It's a reality. And then avoid dependency. You want to maintain some personal goals and financial independence where possible. We've had a lot of shows on sugar babies. You're getting this money. Please don't blow it. Budget it. Invest it. Maybe start a business. Invest in Bitcoin. Whatever you want to do, whatever you think is an investment strategy. I know Alejandra has invested in some real estate lately. Some really safe investments. It's great. She has goals. She wants to buy a house. She wants to be independent. She wants to be, where she can really enjoy the sugar dating part without depending on it. And you should have those goals too, if you are depending on it. Or if you want to start a business. I know co-host Angie has started her own business. It's booming. I think she's moving into a shop soon. And it's great. It's great to see people flourish, especially the sugar babies who may not have been flourishing before they got into sugar dating. All right, some common pitfalls to avoid. You want to avoid unrealistic expectations. Not every match that you have will result in a lavish lifestyle. Wealth comes in varying forms. People have different availabilities. I'm wealthy. To some, I'm pocket change, right? I can't just take off and go for a week vacation in the Bahamas. So if you're expecting that when you're dating me, sorry, it's not happening. Okay? I'm still out there working my ass off, still making money. I'm actually more on the lines of Sugar Daddy Dwayne, where I make a good income and I have a lot of wealth, but it's tied up in real estate. I'm kind of a little bit cash poor a lot of times. So, but I have enough of an income that I've got some disposable dating income that I budget every month towards Alejandra and other dates that I go on, right? So I'm not going to be writing a check to somebody for 20 grand like Lily got. She met a gentleman who, would just write her these big checks. Like, I'm not in that position. So does that mean you're not going to enjoy that person because they don't live that lifestyle? It's up to you. I know the people that date me have a great time. And we get to do a lot of fun things. And they're very happy with how things turn out. I'm in a different category. I don't have a private jet. I don't even have access to a private jet. So we're not whisking ourselves away to Sedona for breakfast, on a 30-minute ride on a private jet on a Saturday morning. It's just not happening. I would love for it to happen. I'm working towards it maybe one day to be in that position, but that's just not me. Okay. But I still enjoy sugar dating. I still enjoy spoiling the woman. I still enjoy doing a lot of fun things. But if your expectations is this lavish lifestyle with every single person you meet, then you're going to need to change those expectations. It's more on the rare side. It's there. I've seen it. I hear about it. People tell me stories. My jaw drops. We share those stories, but it's not happening on a regular basis. So another pitfall to avoid is ignoring the red flags. Don't ignore controlling and manipulative behavior. It should be taken seriously. I know Lily had a problem with the same guy that was writing her all these big checks. He was very controlling, and it got to be a problem. And she kind of ignored it in the beginning, but after a while, it comes to a head, and the whole thing blew up. So if you know something is bothering you, but you choose to ignore it, just know It's going to come back to haunt you. All right? And don't be surprised when it does. And then finally, the common pitfall to avoid is lack of honesty. Deceit can damage trust and safety. Yes, I know I haven't been 100% honest with Alejandra. She's caught me in a few things where I didn't tell her because I thought it might hurt her feelings. So I got a little sneaky about it. She found out anyway. And yeah, it damaged the trust. Because then a few nights later, she's FaceTiming me going, where are you at? When I tell her I'm somewhere, now I'm really there, right? But I damaged the trust and I have to rebuild that. So, I'm guilty just like a lot of people that the lack of honesty really can come back to haunt you. So be careful with that. So it's a big pitfall. All right. So just to wrap this up, succeeding in sugar dating requires more than appearance. It demands emotional intelligence, mutual respect, clear boundaries, and a strong sense of personal agency. When approached thoughtfully and safely, sugar dating can be a mutually beneficial and empowering experience. So this is going to be a fun episode that you can share with anybody you want who wants to know how to succeed in sugar dating. And hopefully we've gone over quite a few of the main points that you're going to encounter while sugar dating. I mean, I just really can't think of anything I left out. Now, it's a big, broad spectrum of what you're going to encounter out there. And on our Patreon, we have a community chat where we get into all kinds of scenarios, feedback, advice. We couldn't possibly go over every single situation that comes up during sugar dating. They should mostly follow this format, but they don't always follow this format. And you're always going to get people that are going to try to take advantage of you. They're going to manipulate you. They're going to try to get away with something. And it can be on both sides. So just be careful. And if you need those resources on how to deal with that, I mean, this podcast, I think, is the absolute best resource you're going to get. Reddit has some great forums. The Sugar Lifestyle Forum is probably the most populated and most active. I would highly suggest you get involved in that if you're truly serious about working through some of these issues. It's such a rewarding and empowering lifestyle, and it can take you places that you never thought would be available to you. So again, on that taking it serious part, don't foo-foo this opportunity. Trust me, the men here, most of the men, have been through quite a lot. They've succeeded in something, and they have a lot of knowledge and networking and experience to share. And you could bypass a lot of the learning curve by just paying attention, following advice, networking your way to wherever you want to go. Just make it clear and concise, and you'll be shocked, absolutely shocked, at the outcomes and where this will take you. All right, that is it for today's episode. I appreciate you listening. I know it was just me. Hopefully you didn't get too bored, but I think it's such important to just go over the basics of sugar dating occasionally. We are going to have in the next few episodes some interviews with people that are coming to the party before, after. You're going to want to hear all about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So join us next time. And then don't forget to join our Patreon to see exclusive behind the scenes photos and videos of that. It's only $10 a month. It's very, very cheap. If you subscribe through an app, it might be a little bit more, but it's so cheap to be involved. Almost less than a breakfast now. One breakfast at McDonald's. It's ridiculous how expensive things have got, but we've kept the price the same. If you just want to be a free member, we do value our free members, and we'd like you to join there too. All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.